Hi Bruno, my name's Mark Puck and I'm from RaceDepartment.com.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. I'm actually an Australian, so excuse my accent.
That's alright.
I've been watching you with great interest the last hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah, you're really super quick in the sim.
I like it, man. I really enjoy it. And I mean, when I see the progress that has been done from last time to this time is even more fun.
It seems a lot changed since the last time I played it myself, so... Yeah, they've really been working hard on it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the result of the work that has been done is impressive, actually, I have to say.
Well, you're the best judge of that because you're a real-world racing driver, so the idea is to get as close as possible to the real thing.
I mean, it is very close because when I look at the lap times in Moscow or here, they are very, very close to the reality. I mean, here I was lapping in qualifying 120.5. And in free practice I was in a 121.0, 121.1. So it is, I mean, lap times are very, very realistic, and the way the car reacts now is very, very close to reality, I think. You know, there is, of course there's always things you can optimize and improve a little bit, but it is, I mean, it's great. It's actually, it's a real race car when you drive it, you know, it's good fun.
That's good to hear, and I agreed with your comments on the steering being a little bit slow compared to the input that you give the steering. I found in the slow corners I was driving a little bit with you guys. It was sort of a lag. You'd turn the wheel and then it would take a little while before the actual front end came around. Yeah,
exactly. And you have this genuine understeer which you have to add steering input and which like carries on from the mid corner to the exit of the corner. You know, where normally you have that phase where the front picks up a bit of grip and the car kind of rotates.
I've prepared a few questions for you. I hope you don't mind if I just run through a list with you.
Yeah, tell me.
My first question would be, what do you enjoy the most about sim racing?
What I like most in sim racing is I like the I kind of like the consistency of driving. You know, it is, every lap is the same, so it's only you. You only have to concentrate on yourself. And you can optimize your concentration a lot on sim racing just because the car is always the same. So basically, you only have to concentrate on your driving style and what you're doing out there. And if you want to do some good lap times, consistent lap times, you have to be precise and you have to be concentrated, maximum concentrated. And this is very good for me during the winter to train my concentration and it helps me really have a good concentration at the start of the season, because during the winter we don't drive a lot, you know, we don't have a lot of testing or anything, so sim racing for me is great for my concentration.
That's really great. It's good to know that a real racing driver has got a true passion for sim racing as well.
Yeah, I like it. I have a lot of fun.
And what attracted you to sim racing in the first place and to get involved with Sector 3?
Well, what attracted me to sim racing was in the first place was just because I love racing. So, if there is anything I would like to do or would like to play is a racing game, also online, because there's a lot of good guys out there who are even frustrating me a little bit sometimes because but there is, you know, there are a lot of good drivers, good guys out there who have a lot of experience, and I like racing them. You know, it's fun, it's good fun, and so that's the first thing. You know, the first thing was the fun, and the second thing is definitely because it's working my concentration during the winter.
And how did you get involved with Sector 3?
Well, because of, you know, Race Room got in contact with me because obviously doing the DTM game. Mm-hmm. So that's why actually I started to do some stuff together with Race Room and Race Room Germany and DTM Experience, and then I got in contact with JF, who contacted me, and then we started, you know, having these virtual championship during the winter last year, because I kind of had the idea. I suggested to Race Room if we could do a championship during the winter where the fans or the guys who are driving well out there could kind of compete against me or against us DTM drivers.
Great.
We started doing that during last winter, and this actually worked very well. It was good fun because we had an online championship, which was you had to drive lap times every week on a new track, and then the top 20 of these challenges were qualified for a final race, which was in Lausitzring. So it was great fun. You know, it was for the 2015 game, which I was very happy about, and which I kind of asked for as well, because I like to do that.
You sound really enthusiastic. It's really good to hear.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
Following question is, what's more important for you in a race game, the look of the game or the physics?
You know, I think it's a 50-50. I mean, you know, the physics, I would say, is very important. The way the car behaves and what the car does, and how the car reacts to your inputs. That's something that's very important.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really like also, you know, the look. You know, it has to look nice. It has to be a proper looking race car, and so I think it's a 50-50 thing. You know.
Also, by the look of the game, I also mean outside the cockpit, like the surroundings, the circuit itself, the trees, those sort of things.
Yeah, that's very important too. You know, I saw that you know, there's lots of spectators in the grandstand now on the start and finish, and in Orsted, I'm in Orsted right now, and I see there's a lot of people in the grandstands, and yeah, of course, the surroundings, the curbs, the gravel traps, and all that has to be as realistic as possible, and that's a very important thing, you know.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And what would you say is the biggest similarity between sim racing and real world racing?
You have to stay, you know, you have to have a good level of aggression, but you have to stay calm as in both worlds. You know, if you're too aggressive and you lose your calm and your concentration in sim and in reality, then it costs you a lot. Obviously, in reality, it can cost you more because if you go off in reality, it can hurt or it can break the car, which is not the case in sim.
No, got a reset button.
Yeah. But you know, it is interesting because in sim, if you lose your concentration, you lose 3 to 4 tenths a lap, and that's a lot.
Yeah, especially at your level, then you're at the back instead of at the front.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because everything is so close together.
How many hours do you practice in sim rigs at home or elsewhere?
Well, you know, during the season, I don't have time to practice a lot, so that is because I'm away a lot and I do a lot of events for BMW and, you know, with the races and everything. So I don't have that much time. But in the winter, I try to sit in my simulator and race against people as much as I can. I can't tell you exactly how much time I spend, but sometimes, you know, I can spend 3 hours in the night and or in the evening and race against people online and just have fun and even sweat in my simulator.
Are there real advantages for you by training in the simulator? Do you actually get a little bit quicker in your real car?
I wouldn't say it makes me quicker. One thing is for sure though, it's sharpening my concentration, so my concentration gets sharper.
Okay, and I was curious about this as well. Are the braking points in the game, are they the same as in real life?
Well, they are now. I mean, in the 2014 game, it was already very close, but some were a bit off. But now, I mean, we've practiced 2 tracks, and in these 2 tracks, it's almost like within 3 meters. It's the same braking point, which is quite impressive.
That is impressive. That's really realistic then.
Yeah, it is.
What sort of equipment do you use, and do you have a preference for certain wheels, pedals, or cockpits?
I'm using a G27,
right.
So which is, you know, I'm happy with, and yeah, so I got my simulator from Race Room, and like I said, I'm very happy with it, and it's a good tool to play with and to train in, you know.
And do you have any mods on your steering wheel and pedals?
Oh no, I only adjusted my buttons. You know, I did pretty much the same buttons as I have in my cockpit. So my brake balance adjuster is like a little gear lever, and my DRS button is at located the same place as it is in my race car.
Okay.
And the same for my speed limit button. So I've done my steering a bit like I have like in my car.
Okay, so you've got the stock springs in the pedal base. You haven't changed the springs for heavier springs or
no, I haven't changed that.
Nothing.
No, it's fine. It's fine as it is. I mean, I'm happy with it.
Okay, and what about braking? Do you have a sense of feeling the threshold of the brakes with the spring that's in there, the standard spring?
Of course, you know, if you would have a stiffer brake pedal, you would be able to judge a little bit better the brakes or the way you feed in the brakes, that would be a bit better. But it is, at the end, you have to find a compromise, because in the race car, you have the G-force that kind of helps you to press or put a lot of pressure in a very hard brake pedal, you know.
How many kilos can you press the pedal in the race car?
You can press until 100 bar, so which is quite a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. So yeah, sometimes I even wonder that my pedals are still working, because I kind of press them very hard.
Yeah. Have you driven like old school, heel and toe?
Yeah. I've been driving. My first year of Formula Renault, I've been driving old school heel and toe in 2001, and then I started braking left foot.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to everything. I like also old style driving, you know, with the heel and toe, and I can still do it, so it's still good fun. But on a race car, I think, yeah, today most, or like 90% of the race cars, you drive them like that. So that's the times are like they are now, you know. These are modern times, and that's how it is, and it's good fun to drive. But definitely, I don't mind sometimes, you know, getting back to the old-fashioned style, and it is good fun. Like, for example, I tried an old DTM M3 from a long time ago, which Roberto Ravaglia was winning the championship with in DTM, and there you had to heel and toe. So I did that 2 years ago, and it was good fun. You know, an old DTM car was good fun.
And was it still quick in comparison to the cars you drive now?
Yeah, no, it's a lot slower. I mean, it is a proper touring car, you know. It was a real touring car. Now the cars we have is like more a big single seater, you know. So you can't even compare. There's a big difference.
Okay, so the speed difference is also quite large.
Yeah, and also the braking and the downforce and.
All right. And have you driven any other sim titles?
You know, I got a lot into the DTM game last year, last winter. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Obviously, before that I did a bit of PlayStation and Formula 1 games, but it's not as realistic, you know. It's not as close to real racing than the DTM game is, you know, to my eyes. You know, in the DTM game you can drive close to other cars and you can touch them a bit without that they spin off, and it's very realistic racing, you know, and that's why I'm kind of concentrate myself more on this one now.
Okay. And do you think there's any room for improvement in the title then, considering all the testing that you do and developing the title that you're working on now? Do you think there's any room for improvement?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think there is always a bit of room for improvement, but then yeah, of course, I mean, if you know, if having live pit stops and seeing mechanics and all that, and would be amazing. But I think this could be something for the future, maybe. Also, dynamic weather would be something interesting. But I think now we are concentrating on the basic platform, which has improved a lot. And again, the job that has been done from the last test to this test has been huge, and the car is very close to the way the real race car reacts. And I think people that are gonna drive this are really gonna get a good feeling of how the real race car feels. You know, of course there is. I mean, after driving a season, maybe we're gonna feel okay, we can improve a little bit this and that. But the last test now today, I felt there is one or two little details to improve. But once these details are gonna be done, I mean, the car is gonna be. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Like I said, I watched you. Excuse me. I watched you racing around the Oberschleben, and the lines that you were taking, you could see that the car was turning in quite sharply.
You can really guide the car to where you want to go now. You know, you can really push, and when you push too much, the car reacts like the real race car would react. So that's a good thing. You know, you cannot push like crazy and the car just stays on track also, which is important. It is just a good compromise.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me and taking the time to answer my questions.
No problem, no problem.
And it was a real pleasure to watch you drive around.
All right, that's cool.
And I'll have to get practicing and try and get down to your times.
And then we're gonna see each other in the winter cup, in the DTM Sim Racing Winter Cup.